it's over to you, Faye, to just tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing there. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Yeah, hi everyone. I am, as Louise said, a workplace rep. I work at a secondary school in Harlow in Essex. And today I'm just going to kind of tell you a little bit about my journey as a rep and how I've built the presence of the union in my school and what I've been doing to support a high ballot turnout, and what I think that you can all do as workplace reps and ballot volunteers to get a high ballot turnout in your schools. So I became a rep about 7 months ago. Before that, I wasn't even a member of the union. I had joined up when I was training, but then I'd just kind of forgotten about it. And I had a meeting about us. Well, basically, we had a really poor sickness absence policy in my school. And I had a meeting, and I came out of the meeting, and someone said to me, "You should really have had a union rep with you in that meeting." And I didn't even really know what that was then. But I joined up to the union, and I became a union rep on that day. And at first, when I was really kind of fired up about, we're going to do something, we're going to make a change. And at first, nobody came to my meetings. Like, I set up a meeting, and I got loads of cake, and I was really excited about it. And we had already at that point, maybe I have about 50 members in my school, and none of them came, which was really disheartening at first. But now I have, 6 months later, and all those same people who were not coming then are the same people now who are turning up to the meetings, and who are who have in my school, we've had 100% turnout for the online ballot. They're sending their postal ballots in. So if you are finding that sort of apathy in your school, don't give up. You've got to be willing to try different things and see what works in your school. And it will be a case of having conversations here and there which gradually turn the tide. So yeah, what I did was, at first I kind of was trying to identify some of the issues in our school and try to solve them. That finding a small win can be a really big thing that can help people to feel like it's possible for the union to make a difference, and that being a part of the union can have an impact. So in my school, the thing that we've had a big win on was that they were not following the rarely cover policy. And that's changed now, and that's changed that through the meetings that I've had with members, the meetings that I've had with the head teachers. They've changed that, and it's had an impact on everybody's day-to-day life at school, because they're not being taken for cover when they shouldn't be. So that made a really big difference in terms of people kind of coming forward and saying, "Thank you for doing that," and I can, it's made a difference to my day. And in terms of kind of making that happen, I'd say there were two kind of really important things that I'd like to get across to all of you. One of them was that the biggest thing that needs to happen for any action within a union, whether it is in your school and in a kind of that small local way, or whether it is at the national level of this strike, this ballot, it needs to be conversations face to face. So going out and talking to your members is the biggest thing that you can do. At my school, when the academy took over in 2010, they got rid of the staff room, which is quite a common tactic to avoid people being able to get together and talk about what the problems are. Basically, that's why that happened. So in my school, there is no staff room. Every department sits in a separate classroom in different areas of the school, and the culture of the school is very much that everybody stays in those areas. So at first it was a little bit nerve-wracking walking into those classrooms and people being a bit like, what are you doing here? And just walking in and talking to them. But that was the thing that made a big difference, really, was walking up to people and talking to them. And the way to approach those conversations, I think, is to go in with a question. Going up to people and kind of saying to them, "I'm in the union and you need to do this and you need to do that," is probably not going to be the best way to start that conversation. But going in with a question, just saying, "So, how are you all? I'm the union rep, how are you all finding things?" And what you'll often find is even just that question will get them talking to each other and to you about problems that everyone is sharing. And that's when you get onto the the second point that I want to emphasize, is that unions work best when everybody within them is aware of the fact that they are in a collective. So just that first moment of people in a room talking to each other and realizing that they all have the same problems is that first kind of turning point in realizing that we could all act together because we are all of the same mind on these issues. So yeah, going out and talking to people, making them aware of the fact that there is that collective within the school, that we are all on the same page. That's a really big, important part of what you need to do. And then that is also true for each of you as a workplace rep, that you need to feel like you're part of a collective, because it can be really scary to stand up and be the one who is trying to be kind of the leader within your school. So in order to feel confident doing that, and in order to feel confident going up to your members and starting conversations and that kind of thing, you also need to know that you are within a collective yourself. And the way that I found really effective to do that is to just take part in any events that are going on around you. So this is obviously one of those things, but also any kind of district or branch meetings that are available to you, just go to them, just go and chat to people about what's going on in your area. Any conferences, any training. I've been to some of the reps training and it's been really inspiring. I think that is a big thing, that when you're kind of feel like on the one hand you're up against maybe some apathy from your members or some hesitance, to then kind of give yourself a dose of that inspiring activism that you'll find at those events. It really helps to kind of fire you up and keep you going. So anything like that you can attend, anything at all that the union is putting on that you can get to it. And as well as that, there's things like I'm in now, I think 5 or 6 different WhatsApp groups for different sort of parts within the union, reps in my area, reps in the young teachers group, etc. And that gives a really kind of useful platform for just discussing things, just saying I'm having this problem, I'm like, people at my school are saying this, that there's so many ideas just available to you when you have that, again, that collectivism of being able to reach out to the other groups and find kind of ideas and solidarity. So in terms of getting the 100% ballot turnout at my school, the main thing that I did, again, it always just comes back to this, I went out and spoke to everyone. And again, at first I was a little bit nervous about doing that, especially because I have now got, about half the members in my school are people who will turn up to a meeting, will engage with me as a union rep. But then I had and still have about half of the members in my school are people who are maybe SLT, people who because of us not having a staff room, don't really have a huge amount of interaction with. And the idea of walking up to them and saying, have you voted? You need to vote, was a bit intimidating. But again, making it kind of a conversation that starts with a question was the best way to do it. I found just walking up to people at a break or lunchtime and just being like, hi, have you had your ballot in the post, or did you get your email link? And I found that without exception, people immediately were kind of ready to talk to me about it, either by saying, oh yeah, I have, I'm really sorry, I just, they were ready for me to come and speak to them, or by saying, oh, I'm not actually sure about this aspect of going on strike, or what will happen. So yeah, speaking to people and asking them if they'd had their link was the thing that really helped with getting the online ballot, and also is the thing I'm in the process of doing with the postal ballot as well. And being ready to kind of talk to people about what the issues are that they face. And I don't know if this will be the same for everybody, but I found that really the biggest thing that members have been talking about in terms of hesitance has been that they are worried about being in trouble, about being looked down on for striking. And again, it just comes back to that aspect of collectivism, being able to say to people, well, I've been around and I've been talking to everyone, and everybody I've spoken to so far has sent their ballot in, so you're not going to be standing on your own. And this is the percentage that we had out for the online ballot in total in the country, so you're not going to be standing on your own, we're going to be standing together. Just keeping on reinforcing that collectivism aspect is the most important thing that I could emphasize to you today, really. So kind of to distill that into the most important points, the things I'd recommend that you go out and do sort of this week when you next have the chance are: go and talk to people face to face, go and just start conversations with them. Be willing to try different things to create a union presence in your school, and be ready for them to fail. I have experienced over the last 6 or 7 months lots of times when I had wins and I got the 100% ballot turnout, etc. That happened a couple of months ago, but also lots of times when I was really sure that I was going to have a lot of people turn up to my meeting, or that something was going to go right in a meeting with the head teacher, etc., and it just didn't. So being able to be flexible about that and kind of keep going when you get something that doesn't go how you wanted it to is a really important part of it. And yeah, in order to keep that enthusiasm up, attend events, talk to other people who are being activists, and I think that's it. I think that's everything I have to say.